I've said it before. I'll say it again. Journalism in this country is dead. It doesn't exist. We break more news here than all these so-called news people put together. Also breaking tonight, speaking of the fake news media, they're hard at work, desperately trying to stop stories about real Democratic scandals, the ones we're reporting, because it's going to boomerang back on them. For over a year, the deceitful fake news media in this country has been flat out lying to you, the American people, day by day, hour by hour. And now the biased press, they're employing a brand new tactic. You got to pay attention to spread completely false information. Now, the New York Times is claiming to have a blockbuster story about Special Counsel Robert Mueller issuing a subpoena to the Trump Organization to turn over documents. Okay, this particular story is a definition of fake news. It's a smear to damage the Trump administration, and here's why. Take a look at this statement earlier today. Trump Organization. Since July of 2017, we have advised the public that the Trump Organization is fully cooperative with all investigations, including the special counsel, and are responding to all their requests. This is old news, and our assistance and cooperation with the various investigations remains the same today. Oh, old news recycled by pathetic liberal lapdog media so-called journalists. They have wasted 14 months beating the drum night after night, night after night, day after day, hour after hour about a conspiracy theory. None exists. No evidence exists. It's been a big lie. And the media has deliberately spread false information and propaganda, which is exactly what Putin and the Russians want. Isn't that what they wanted to do? Sow discord in America? All the media seems to care about is damaging and destroying President Trump, delegitimizing him. And they're also trying to draw the president's attention away from the massive Democratic scandals and not let anybody else in the media focus on cases where we actually have real evidence that's incontrovertible, real facts, real evidence. And as for Robert Mueller's special counsel, this latest leak is not surprising. What Mueller's doing is deliberate. The special counsel, his team of Democratic donors, Hillary donors, Obama donors, DNC donors, they are selectively leaking daily to the media to keep President Trump off balance. Mueller doesn't care about the truth or evidence or facts because he's been on a witch hunt. Look at the team he's put together. And the leaks are obviously intentional because it happens every day. And if Mueller really cared about uncovering real crimes, real wrongdoing, Mueller, you'd be investigating them. You know, if Mueller's going to keep expanding his mandate, why doesn't he focus on the Clinton bought and paid for Russian dossier with Russian lies? Does Mueller not care that Hillary paid for this Russian propaganda and she did it to influence an election? Does Mueller not care that Christopher Steele is an unregistered foreign agent who hates President Trump? Does Mueller not care about the FBI lying to a FISA judge not once, twice, three times, but four times, using an unverified dossier as the bulk of the application to get a warrant from FISA judges to spy on a campaign associate so they have access to everything in that campaign? Does Mueller not care that this FISA warrant likely gave access to all of Trump campaign's communications during an election? I can go on all night. Does Robert Mueller, sir, do you really not care that Clinton fixed and had fixed for her that email investigation and we know crimes were committed? Or the unmasking scandal, a 350% increase in 1 year? Or the Uranium One scandal? You were the FBI director at the time. We had an FBI informant that had infiltrated Putin's criminal scheme to control America's uranium. Well, you have no problem going down every other rabbit hole, Mr. Mueller. Why don't you look into these scandals? This is why we need the second special counsel, someone that is going to lead from the outside this swamp. You can't have people involved in these scandals investigating themselves. That means Mueller, that means Comey, they have these friendships going on here. Rod Rosenstein, they're all BFF, old colleagues. You really think they're going to hold themselves and each other accountable? Of course, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, he created this special counsel witch hunt. Now he needs to fix it. You can't be confirmed the AG and then the next day recuse yourself. And by the way, cite the wrong law, as Greg Jarrett pointed out last night. We need the second independent prosecutor. Now, Sessions knew he was going to recuse himself. He never should have accepted the job as Attorney General. Look at the chaos that is a result of all of this. Here's a key fact. Greg Jarrett pointed this out. This is where we cite Sessions cited the wrong law as the justification for recusing himself. He's the Attorney General. So the burden of all of this, that is dragging this country down, falls squarely on Jeff Sessions' shoulders. Tonight, Mr. Attorney General, do your job and fix the mess you created. And also tonight, another damning report about James Comey's incompetence and his highly questionable conduct while leading the FBI. Friend John Solomon reporting that the longtime head of the FBI Telecommunications Surveillance Unit is saying that he warned James Comey about how that particular spy program was dangerously ineffective in catching terrorists. Comey never tried to fix it. That's like Obama was warned about Russian collusion and influence on our elections and did nothing and laughed at the idea. Here's what the retired special agent told John Solomon. Take a look.
I believe that the program as it was ripe for potential abuses, regardless of how it's abused, but it could be. And frankly, I see what's been happening in the last year and a half, and that just proves the point that this program could be abused and that it would not be used for the purposes that it was intended for.
All right, a lot to get into tonight.